Yesterday, I just happened to see something on YouTube that was a red alert in terms of prophecy. Red alert. And this came out 2 months ago, and I didn't know about it, but I saw this video yesterday. So today, it's about this false Gideon, from deliverance to domination. So Gideon, we're going to look at Gideon's story in a minute, but they've announced that they're working on this AI surveillance system called Gideon, and it's using Palantir's database. They're working with Palantir. So we're going to look at, well, why would they call it Gideon? We can make this full screen. They don't do it just out of coincidence. There's a reason why they're using Gideon. So I'm going to go back to Gideon afterwards. But this AI system called Gideon is an acronym for Guided Intelligence and Defense for Enforcement of Order Nationwide. Spells out Gideon. So they are going to enforce order by force, right? So yeah, so let me just show you. I have some short video clips, and you will see what I saw.
What if your department could see the threat before it happens? Gideon is the first real-time AI system built to detect threats online before they become attacks.
Let me just look at this for a
Built to
second.
detect threats online.
So this is what they're going to be looking for. Open web, Reddit, public forums, blog posts, conspiracy boards, social media, so Discord, Telegram, X, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube posts, gaming, chat logs, even like on Xbox Live, I guess, and like the voice chat on there, clan servers, underground gaming forums. They're looking for grievance buildup, martyrdom language, hate speech and ideology. And who defines hate speech? They do. Tactical prep, target references, suicide intent, or final post behaviors. They're not looking for all of those things. They're just looking for one of those things. And then the indicator patterns, okay, they just have it repeated on the bottom. So let's continue.
15 seconds, Aaron. You're talking about stopping mass shootings, attacks in Boulder before they start.
Trace, I'm building the first AI-driven threat prediction platform for law enforcement. They're flying blind right now. I've got an elite team of engineers from Palantir. I've got law enforcement agencies lined up. 76% of these mass attackers posted some type of grievance online. This is America's early warning detection system. If you're a chief out there, reach out to me, get on my pilot. If you're a VC, I'm about to open my seed round. Partner with me, and let's make America safe and get cops the tools they need.
So here is the predictive programming for this that came out in 2011. Person of Interest, the TV show.
You are being watched. The government has a secret system.
Okay, so Person of Interest was about that guy. He built a machine that would predict crime, right? So, but the show was trying to say that the inventor of the machine didn't like what the government was doing with it. So he had a secret backdoor into the machine that it would tell him of crimes that were going to happen. So they would go out as a two-man team and try and stop those crimes. So they're trying to make it look like they were trying to use it for good, right? But the government was misusing the system. And the government actually had another system because they didn't have full control over this machine because of the backdoors he put in it. So they built their own machine called Samaritan, and that was a total surveillance system that would go after anyone they wanted to target, basically, based on whatever criteria they gave it. It was an AI system. So this came out between 2011 and 2016, and today they're building that same system, but it's called Gideon, and it's doing the exact same thing. So it will be misused. The government, when they have something like this, is not going to be they won't limit themselves to like criminals. It's going to be used against anyone who disagrees with the government. They will know everything you're doing online. It's an online tool, but these agencies have another thing that they have that looks at phone calls and like cameras and stuff like that. So between these systems that they already have, they're going to have surveillance on everything. There's not going to be any more anonymity on the internet, and that's why they're bringing in age verification laws in all these countries now, because now you're going to have to identify yourself to be on the internet, so that this system can know who's posting what. Because you might post in an anonymous forum, but with the age verification system, there will be no more anonymous posting. So they'll know everything everyone's doing, right? So it's called Gideon, and it is we have warnings against this in the Bible. So in Revelation 13, and they're saying it's to do with keeping you safe, which is what they always say when they put in tyrannical systems. It's always about keeping people safe. Revelation 13. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save that he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So the beast system, this is going to be able to track everybody, right? So they'll be able to come after you if you don't take the mark of the beast. They'll know everyone who didn't take it, and they'll be able to find them if you're on the internet in any capacity. So it's part of the beast system that they're building right now. And this guy that's building it, Aaron Cohen, he is a talk show host, basically, but he's a former Israeli special ops. So he's government. He's a government guy, and he thinks he's doing it to protect people, but it's going to be abused, and we know it's going to become the mark of the beast enforcement system. So so there's warnings against it. So the name Gideon we have in Judges 6. There is a character called Gideon, one of the actual judges, one of the 12 judges of Israel. We'll just take a look at his story. 6, 11 to 16. And there came an angel of the Lord. So Israel was under the Midianites at this time. They had been conquered by the Midianites. So they were living under their rule. So in verse 11, and there came an angel of the Lord and sat under an oak, which was in Ophrah, that pertained unto Joash the Abiezrite, and his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him and said unto him, The Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor. And Gideon said unto him, O my Lord, if the Lord be with us, why then is all this befallen us? And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, Did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord hath forsaken us, and delivered us into the hand of the Midianites. And the Lord looked upon him and said, Go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent thee? And he said unto him, O my Lord, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. And the Lord said unto him, Surely I will be with thee, and thou shalt smite the Midianites as one man. So the Lord is promising to deliver them from the Midianites. Gideon's story is about weakness depending on God. And as we know in the Bible, God uses the weak, always uses the weak and not the strong, to prove that God is doing this. So basically, God chooses Gideon to do this. He's just he's just a normal, like, he's one of the judges though. So 1 Corinthians 1:27 tells us why he would choose Gideon. But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, And God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty, and base things of the world and things which are despised hath God chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence. So he does this. He calls people in the weak people, so that nobody can glory, and everyone knows it's God behind it. So in Judges 7, in the next chapter, when they're about to go and get ready to attack the Midianites, verse 2, it says, And the Lord said unto Gideon, so he had some people, he gathered an army, The people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, Mine own hand hath saved me. Now therefore go to, proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, Whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned of the people 22,000, and there remained 10,000. And the Lord said unto Gideon, The people are yet too many. Bring them down unto the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, This shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee. And of whomsoever I say unto thee, This shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people unto the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon, Every one that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, every one that boweth down upon his knees to drink. So they're separating them by how they're drinking water at the pool. And the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, By the 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand. And let all the other people go, every man unto his place. So the people took victuals in their hand and their trumpets, and he sent all the rest of Israel, every man unto his tent, and retained those 300 men, and the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley. And it's a large host, thousands of people, thousands of soldiers. So they have 300 people. And it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, Arise, get thee down unto the host, for I have delivered it unto thine hand. But if thou fear to go down, go thou with Phurah thy servant down to the host. And thou shalt hear what they say, and afterward shall thine hands be strengthened to go down unto the host. Then went he down with Phurah his servant unto the outside of the armed men that were in the host. And the Midianites and the Amalekites and all the children of the east lay along in the valley, like grasshoppers for multitude, and their camels were without number, as the sand by the seaside for multitude. And when Gideon was come, behold, there was a man that told a dream unto his fellow, and said, Behold, I dreamed a dream, and lo, a cake of barley bread tumbled into the host of Midian, and came unto a tent, and smote it that it fell, and overturned it, that the tent lay along. And his fellow answered and said, This is nothing else save the sword of Gideon, the son of Joash, a man of Israel. For into his hand hath God delivered Midian and all the host. And it was so, when Gideon heard the telling of the dream, and the interpretation thereof, that he worshipped and returned unto the host of Israel, and said, Arise, for the Lord hath delivered into your hand the host of Midian. And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and he put a trumpet in every man's hand, with empty pitchers and lamps within the pitchers. And he said unto them, Look on me, and do likewise, and behold, when I come to the outside of the camp, it shall be that as I do, so shall ye do. When I blow with a trumpet, I and all that are with me, then blow ye the trumpets also on every side of all the camp, and say, The sword of the Lord and of Gideon. So Gideon and the 100 men that were with him came unto the outside of the camp in the beginning of the middle watch, and they had but newly set the watch, and they blew the trumpets, and brake the pitchers that were in their hands. And the 3 companies blew the trumpets and brake the pitchers, and held the lamps in their left hands, and the trumpets in their right hands to blow withal, and they cried, The sword of the Lord and of Gideon. And they stood every man in his place round about the camp, and all the host ran and cried and fled. And the 300 blew the trumpets, and the Lord set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the host. And the host fled to Bethshitta in Zererath, and to the border of Abel-Meholah unto Tabbath. And the men of Israel gathered themselves together out of Naphtali, and out of Asher, and out of all Manasseh, and pursued after the Midianites. And Gideon sent messengers throughout all Mount Ephraim, saying, Come down against the Midianites, and take before them the waters unto Bethbara and Jordan. Then all the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together, and took the waters unto Bethbara and Jordan. And they took 2 princes of the Midianites, Oreb and Zeb, and they slew Oreb upon the rock Oreb, and Zeb they slew at the winepress of Zeb, and pursued Midian, and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeb to Gideon on the other side Jordan. So they 300 people, I suppose because it was at night, they were sort of giving the illusion that there was a huge army there. But so it scared the Midianites, and they actually got confused and started fighting against each other too, and then they just ran. So this is how it was done. So God was responsible for delivering them, and so basically he removed the human power as much as he could, so that Israel knows that the victory was his, and not, it wasn't Gideon that did it. It wasn't the men that did it. There's no way 300 men could have done that. God caused that to happen. So victory by faith, deliverance comes from trusting God, because they trusted what God had told them. They did what they were told, and it happened just as he said it would. So that's sort of a story of deliverance. And then so the acronym Gideon, the false Gideon, the AI system, it's an enslavement system. They have you under constant watch. One of the reasons is, and they're trusting in the AI. They're trusting in man's AI, the all-seeing AI. They're not trusting in the Lord, right? Man thinks they need to build a surveillance system to stop crime, and they were using all these mass shootings as a pretext for this, as they always do. And a lot of these mass shootings turn out to be related to like mind control programs that the CIA used to run. So it's sort of a problem, reaction, solution. They created the problem, and now they're delivering their solution, which is, instead of trusting in God, they're trusting in AI to enforce control over people. And then they're using Palantir as well, the false all-seeing eye, Palantir. The origin of that name, Palantir, it's a sort of a crystal ball in Lord of the Rings, where it was created by Sauron to be able to see what's going on everywhere. Like, it's a surveillance system using sorcery. So users thought they saw the truth, but they were deceived. It was giving them a deceptive vision of what was going on. So it's sort of a counterfeit of omniscience, right? They think they can see everything that you're doing with this system. It's a counterfeit of God, because only God truly sees everything. God is omniscient. And then Revelation 18:23 mentions that the nations were deceived by sorceries. 18:23. It says, at the end of that, it says, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. The word sorcery is pharmakia, so there's an element to that of drugs today, but sorcery also can mean magic, and Palantir is a sorcery-related name. So it could also be talking about these all-seeing surveillance systems that the beast system is going to be. So, and the thing with AI, using AI makes things up. If it wants to tell you what you want to know, basically. It can make things up out of whole cloth. It could create evidence out of nothing, because it hallucinates. AI hallucinates. So it's a deceptive system. So person of interest was the predictive programming The Machine, it was called, showed AI watching everyone, predicting crimes. They put in these predictive programs to soften society to accept it. So now that people are like, oh, we're not surprised. We saw this on TV like 20 years ago. But now they're doing it. Because now they're desensitized to it. They're like, everyone's like, oh yeah, it's a lot of people are saying, yeah, it's a good thing. And in Isaiah 5, verse 20, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So people are calling evil good, like saying, oh, this surveillance, we need it, it's a good thing. They're trying to say that it's good, but it's evil. Surveillance is always going to be misused by the government. So the thing about Gideon, the whole thing about maybe one of the reasons it's called Gideon is it sort of filters through data. It's filtering through data, looking to find people. And the real Gideon was told to filter the people by certain things that they were doing. But it was, so the false Gideon is like a counterfeit of what happened in the original story of Gideon, where he was filtering to find the 300 men that he needed. They're doing it to find so-called criminals, but it's like a filtering system. So perhaps, look, I know they didn't do it on purpose. They come up with these acronyms, but in the end, Satan is behind all these things. So it turns out like Satan has a reason for it to be called Gideon. It's his own filtering system to try and find people that he wants to find. Ultimately, it had said they were looking for martyrdom statements, which would be religion related. And no doubt when the mark of the beast comes out, they'll be looking for people who refuse to take the mark so they can track them down. That's the martyrdom, because we'll be saying, we would rather die than take the mark of the beast, right? We're not taking it. That's their martyrdom language right there. So they're going to be looking for people who are online at the time, protesting against the government. And along with the other systems that they have, if you're out protesting in the streets, they'll be surveilling you with those satellite surveillance systems that they already have. So it's a false deliverance system that man is trying to put in. If they truly trusted in God, if man didn't leave God by the wayside and try and do it his own way, they wouldn't need mass surveillance systems. If you're trusting in God to protect you, like if God was protecting the US, there wouldn't be all these mass shootings. Like you wouldn't need to enslave everybody to stop them from doing things, right? It just wouldn't be necessary. So the true Gideon was a weak man who had faith, and that was God's deliverance. The false Gideon is AI and Palantir, man's surveillance and control. They don't trust God whatsoever. And it's a prophetic fulfillment of the beast system, which is counterfeiting a deliverance style system, portraying it as everyone's going to be safe now because they've got this system in place. So our hope is not in these false systems, but in Christ alone. So let's see, Hebrews 2:15. It says, and deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. So Christ has delivered us from that fear of death, which is the thing that actually drives these people to think that they need this surveillance system. They're afraid to die. They don't know where they're going when they die. So they don't want to die. So they want to live forever. So you've got these transhumanist systems going in, and it's all part of this beast system. Surveillance, transhumanism, control. It's all about control. And it's because they're afraid to die. The elites are afraid to die. They're setting up their doomsday bunkers already. They've been doing it for a while. All these billionaires have doomsday bunkers. And we're told in Revelation 6 that they're going to, at some point, flee to those bunkers. Because in Revelation 6, it says, when Jesus returns, And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So they're going to try and hide themselves away from when Jesus returns. But they're not going to be successful. He's going to find they're going to be, because unless they trust in Jesus today, they're going to be, they're going to be destroyed. Those rocks, everything is going to be melted away, right? So when the wrath comes down, those doomsday bunkers aren't going to do anything. They're not going to save them. Only Jesus can save them. So all they would have to do is put their trust in what Jesus did for them on the cross, and they would be saved. But unfortunately, most of them probably aren't going to be. So I guess that's all I have for today. It's just it was like a alarm bell. It's like Gideon, this Gideon system. It's a biblical name. It's a total surveillance system. It's definitely part of the beast system going out. And this was 2 months ago. So already they're working with Palantir to implement this system as fast as they can. And this guy, Aaron Cohen, he actually responds to his YouTube comments. He's like, oh, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's like, and I replied back to him. I said it's going to be abused and used to control people. And, I told him, search the clear gospel in 4 minutes if you want to be saved. Because that Aaron Cohen, he's Jewish, right? He rejects Jesus. So hopefully, but you never know. People can see those comments, and other people might believe, right? So.